time, spent almost 20 years at a company called Ore-Ida Foods, which was owned and continues to be owned by what used to be the H.J. Heinz Company, is now Kraft Heinz. About 12 years ago started a merger and acquisition firm with a partner named Corey Hall, as a CPA. And we did get very involved in lots of activities here in the community, including being an early board member of the Kickstand organization, which helped to build the entrepreneurial infrastructure, being focused first on the entrepreneur. And then got involved with an entrepreneurial company myself as an investor, then as an advisor, then as a board member, and then as the CEO. And that's what I'm here to talk to you about today. So Prosperity Organic Foods is the company. And as you know, they say necessity is the mother of invention. And in the case of this company, the founder, a woman right there, Signia Rapp, when she was 30 years old, had all kinds of health issues, including very serious digestive issues. And so she was advised by physicians, both naturopathic and conventional medicine physicians, to go on a very severe diet, no dairy, no animal fats. And she's athletic and very fit, and said, this is a life sentence for me and I'm not going to accept that. So she started her own journey and discovered the magical combination of virgin coconut oil, and she blended it with flaxseed oil, and she made it in her kitchen, and so began her journey. And that's a typical story of somebody outside of an industry having a personal need. They can't find a solution that works for themselves, and so they create the solution themselves. So our goal as a company is to take that expertise in healthy fats and deliver great tasting products, mostly in categories that don't know anything about healthy fats because they're using unhealthy fats and gave up on delivering taste a long time ago. So I'm going to debunk a couple of paradoxes out there. First of all, eating fat does not make you fat. Eating fat does not make you fat. For 50 years, we've been told that eating fat makes you fat, and that low-fat diets are the way to a healthy future, and that, in particular, consuming saturated fat will cause a heart attack, just like eating cholesterol will cause a heart attack. Well, here we are 50 years later, and all the research, long-term clinical studies, lots of cardiac physicians are now saying, oops, we made a big mistake. Eating fat does not make you fat. And all fats are not created equal. So we're focused on healthy fats, and healthy fats are those that are that come from fruit or come from seeds, have not been hydrogenated or heavily processed or use chemicals for processing in any way. And that has been really the foundation of the company from the very beginning, and continues to be the growth platform for our company. And there are a number of things going on right now that are helping to intersect our fundamental health-based belief that healthy fats are actually good for you. One of those is there is a significant trend going on, you may be living part of it, of a shift from animal-based diets to plant-based diets. Part of this is an overall health concern. A lot of it is the dramatic increase in allergies, both in adults and in particular in children. A lot of concerns about the high processing of our food industry, the changing of things like wheat to make them toxic because they have been changed at the seed level. And so what we see is, from a health and wellness need state, people are seeking alternatives that are better fit with their overall health needs. And what we know is when a child has some health issues, it changes all the behavior in a household. Moms and dads change their behavior, go online, learn everything they can, consult with their physicians, naturopaths, anybody they can find to help them understand. So healthy fats, especially saturated fat that comes from coconut, because virgin coconut oil is the highest in lauric acid, actually are brain food. They're good for you. They're good for your brain. And so we focus on virgin coconut oil. We combine it with flaxseed oil that is very good quality, and so we also deliver high omega-3 ALAs. The second major trend is food tribes are going on. So people are identifying with the choices they make and the food they consume, and it's becoming part of their overall personal mission. So there is also a growing group of folks interested in plant-based alternatives. In fact, 36% of all consumers are seeking plant-based alternatives, not because they're vegan radicals or even because they're vegetarians, but because they have made personal choices to say, I want to leave the world in a better place for my kids and my grandkids, and there's some easy things I can do right now. Consuming products that come from cows in particular is not necessarily very good for our overall climate. In fact, as you can see here, 2 cows give off methane gas that has the same negative damage effect to our climate as 1 car giving off carbon dioxide when it drives 10,000 miles. 2 cows, 1 car. This is not something that many people are aware of, but are increasingly becoming concerned about. And then sustainability is a big issue, so we're looking at sustainably sourcing our raw materials and our ingredients because, again, we want to leave the planet in a better place. So sustainably sourced means that it's renewable. And then we also focus on fair trade because our tropical oils come from third world countries, and we want assurances that the farmers and the workers who are making the product have a living wage. In fact, the virgin coconut oil comes from Sri Lanka. The palm fruit oil comes from Colombia, and in Sri Lanka, the company that we work with to source actually has schools, greater education for children, daycare on site, pay a living wage, and this is important because we want to be sure that every person involved in our supply chain has a good quality of life. So we started originally with focusing on the butter margarine category. Because that's where the founder found the greatest need for herself. So the flagship product is Melt. It's a rich and creamy blend. And the problem that we're solving is, yeah, there's butter out there, but I'm here to tell you if you're eating butter from factory processed cows, not grass-fed beef, that you're really not helping yourself very much. So grass-fed beef is the only place to buy butter, and it should be organic. But as you know, not everybody can tolerate butter, and I already showed you a high percentage of folks, 40 million Americans are lactose intolerant, 1 in 10 kids have food allergies, dairy being the most prevalent, so what am I going to do if I can't eat butter, and I can't afford grass-fed butter? I'm certainly not going to eat margarine. Please tell me nobody's still eating margarine in the room. And even those so-called healthier substitutes, and there are a few brands that have been out there for a while, they're heavily reliant on vegetable oils. And listen, vegetable oils just aren't that great for you. They just aren't. So here's our solution, Melt. It is a luscious, which means it tastes amazing, butter improvement, which means that we set out to make a product that is better for you than butter. Not the absence of things that are bad for you, but better for you. And it's the only product out there that features the good fat from virgin coconut oil as the lead ingredient. And we, of course, have all the certifications that matter. Non-GMO, project verified, organic, fair trade, kosher carb. And it's good for your gut, and it's also good for managing your weight. We have focused on leading through innovation because when you go in a category that's as big as this one, dominated by a few companies that have tons of resources, Unilever, probably heard of them, Conagra, Boulder Brands, which is now owned by a huge multinational food company called Pinnacle Foods. So those are the players. Even Hain Celestial, which is a very large company. So we have to stand out, and the best way to stand out is to have a clear competitive point of difference because you're never going to outspend them. It's not going to happen. So you have to figure out how to zig when they zag and how to zag when they zig. And you have to figure out what's the real benefit that I can connect with consumers on so that they understand that I am a company of transparency who delivers what I promise and will always be accessible to you as a consumer. So we're led by a team of industry veterans, people who have long and deep experience in business, and in particular in consumer packaged goods and the food industry. And I'm fortunate to have recruited a really stellar board group of 3 independent board members who are here, which means that they're available to me all the time. And this is what we've done so far. So this is what we call market traction. So this is beyond proof of concept. This is a high growth revenue producing company. And so we are in the majority of the top 50 conventional retailers and the top 50 natural and organic retailers. The food channel is conventional, mass, natural, specialty, and others, C-stores. I mean, there's food, organic food popping up at your local Chevron station now. I mean, it's really something in terms of the expansion. This doesn't happen overnight. So at the end of 2011, Melt, Rich and Creamy Melt spread, one product, was in 1,400 stores. So this is a slow and steady and expensive process to gain distribution. And because yogurt's been expanding like crazy, the butter margarine category's been shrinking. So that means to get a product in, something has to go out. And so that means we are up against Unilever, Conagra, and all the butter folks. But the good news is that we're growing. So this is last year growth. So you can see 52-week, 24-week, double-digit growth across every channel. Whole Foods we've been on shelf with since 2012. We were up 40% in the last 24 weeks. Even Safeway and Albertsons up 12 to 20%. And Kroger King Supers, which is in Boulder, Denver, we were up 50% last year. We've been on shelf there for 5 years. So what that tells you is this is same-store sales growth. This is true organic adoption. This means consumers have discovered your product and they become loyal to it, which is the ultimate win to build a brand. Huge market, $8 billion. $8 billion, that's just what we pay as consumers. That's not what's going into food service and everywhere else. So ample room to play. That's a good thing. Here's our financials. We did $2 million in revenue last year. We're trying to do better than $3 million this year and then scale from there. And it's driven by new products and by distribution gains. We have 3 amazing products. I'm just going to point to them right here. So this is our leading product, the Rich and Creamy Spread. And this year we've launched 2 new products, and they're both, again, bring true innovation to this category. The first is probiotic melt. So what we do is we fortify with a probiotic that's a spore, so it doesn't become live and active till it hits your stomach. So you get 100% efficacy when it runs through your system. And so we can say that it delivers active cultures more effectively than yogurt. In fact, 10 times more effectively. It's odorless, flavorless. Because with yogurt, with the Lactobacillus genus, which is in most yogurts, and they say live and active cultures, because they had an industry organization that together said we're going to do live and active cultures. What you actually get, unless you make your own yogurt at home and get your live and active cultures, you're probably going to lose 99% of the probiotic. This is something most people don't know. And then our sticks product, so this is optimized for baking and cooking. So we're building a national brand. We're actually in Canada, across North America. And the end game, of course, with a company like this long term is to ultimately sell to a value-aligned company with us as a B corporation. Questions?
Whoa. It's just the thought of crappy, not only baked butter margarine, but the baked margarine is essential to my time. This is an incredible story. Any questions in the audience? I see Jody wants to say something.
I always want to say something. So where do you handle the creation, the distribution, the manufacturing? Sorry.
Where do we make the product?
Yeah.
In Hongkong, Idaho.
So, and you're going through traditional channels, Kroger's, and is there, educate me on the middle layer. Is there a middle layer, or are you going direct to the stores?
In a few cases, we go direct, but for most natural organic products, they go through distributors. And the big distributors are KP and UNFI. And there's also a group called Unified that supports the West Coast, and a group called Haddon House that supports the East Coast. But it's mainly through distributors, so they take their piece.
So how can we help you? What are you looking for?
Well, right now I'm looking for people who are passionate about what we're doing. I'm raising money right now, so I've raised money many times, and I find that the more you can send your message out there, the more helpful it is on having somebody find their way to you or making an introduction and saying, I really believe in what you're doing. Our company has been completely financed by angel investors to date. And the vast majority of them are right here in the Treasure Valley. So, and we're talking over $6.5 million has gone to this company. So don't let anybody ever tell you that you can't raise money here, because it's not true. Now, you have to, walk on water and be superhuman, and very tenacious. But it is very possible, especially once you take those risks off the table and get to the point where once you have revenue and it's repeat revenue, you really have validation of the viability of the products that you're launching.
You've got a hell of a team. There are people like Mike Karen, I'd ride to battle with him anywhere, anytime.
Well, team is always key. That's the most important thing. From an investor, you want to know you've done that before, you have a track record, and you understand there are going to be lots of bumps in the road, and that you have to be really creative to figure out how to move forward. There are lots of reasons to stop doing what you're doing as an entrepreneur. It's really, really hard, and not everything ever goes according to plan. Ever.
Really?
No. So, it's important that...
Duty is particularly shocking.
It's important that you keep your eye on the prize and always think about what's another way to go around this obstacle or under it, or reinvent myself or tweak it, refine it. I mean, the product that we're selling now is different than the product we started with, not from a taste standpoint, but from all the things that we've done to continue to push it so that it does its very best. Question?
So you refer to as vegans as radicals. Why would you refer to a vegan as opposed to animal abuse as a radical?
Because some of the vegans, and we spent a lot of people talking to them, have very low acceptance levels of other lifstyles. And so vegans are only 2% to 4% of the population.
Correct.
I can't build a business on 2 to 4% of the population.
No, but vegans are very radical in the sense they're strategically opposed to animal abuse of any sorts.
Yeah, I wouldn't say that's
do you
radical.
advocate for animal abuse?
I know, in fact, our product just got endorsed by PETA.
Well, PETA's a
So,
organization.
okay, well, I'm not going to have a debate about that. I'm just going to say that the good news for people who have always had very strong beliefs in this regard is that this understanding is getting broadly accepted with a large number of people in our country and outside our country. So let's help them change their lifestyle without requiring that they have an extreme point of view and I'm not going to eat honey because the bees make it. Let's focus on how do we increase access to affordable alternatives that are plant-based.
No, I understand,
Right?
but we're referring to people that are opposed
Yeah.
to animal abuse.
Sorry I
Radicals
offended you.
is-
Sorry I offended you.
Okay,
Yeah.
Your point is taken. I have a question.
Spouse of-
Mike, you're kind of proving the point here, actually. You know what I'm saying? Okay, so is it kind of a play off this? Because I'm interested in how you're segmenting your customers and how you think about the customer, like, I guess, how you make these sort of, the vegan, you're not a really crunchy brand, right? You're not a real,
I get what you're saying.
And
So,
I guess, how do you think about
right.
customers?
So actually, when you're trying to figure out what does your brand stand for and how do you attract a loyal group of consumers for whom your product makes a difference in their life. Earth Balance picked vegans as their reason for being. And so that's good, they can have that. We said there's a whole bunch more issues going on here in terms of the overall health of people, allergies, source of supply, fair trade not being respected when you're using tropical oils. So their company does doesn't actually stand for anything else except that. And so we said, there's a much broader mission here that's fully aligned with what we care about.